What are you doing?
Hey Matthew, thanks for dropping by.
Oh,
I know you're
it's a
super
pleasure.
busy.
Thank you. What's up?
I actually wanted to talk to you about the news on Seabourn and Windstar.
Oh, very cool.
Could you tell me about it? What happened? Seabourn has lost some ships now?
Seems like it. Seabourn's going full on into their new fleets, basically, their new builds, which are considered to be some of the most impressive and the most beautiful ships on Earth since their debut. I mean, everyone's got a new ship these days, and they're all quite lovely and have their merits, but Seabourn has had a lot of clout, a lot of renown for these particular vessels. Therefore, their older ships, much smaller, more yacht-like vessels, are considered old and maybe not quite as up to speed. Whereas with Windstar, they're going to refurbish them, they're going to completely overhaul them, make them a little bit more casual, a little bit more accessible to match their current fleet, even though it'll be completely different than what they already have. The older, smaller Seabourn ships don't have the sails and the panache that the current Windstar vessels do have. Nevertheless, it allows them a more upscale, a more luxury end to the Windstar product, I guess as an alternative, while still maintaining the fewer than 300 passenger vessels that, you know, passengers of Windstar would most appreciate.
Now, does it affect current sailings? I know it's happening in 2014. How does it affect people who've already booked with Seabourn?
It's a very good question. It's really a long-term situation and prior announcements. So yeah, the earliest differences you'll find from these current granted Seabourn ships is going to be, yeah, I mean, no difference whatsoever. It's really not going to affect anything until later 2014 and then beyond 15, 16, I think is the overall schedule for all three ships incrementally.
Okay, now I just want to know about price point. Could you tell me what do you think there's going to be any price changes? What's Windstar now compared to Seabourn in terms of price differences? Are they pretty much the same?
No, there's quite a vast difference. So what you're finding, I think, is Windstar trying to differentiate itself and its own fleet, and perhaps being able to go a little bit more upscale, granted. But at the current status, Windstar is wonderfully inclusive and charming, but it's not as all-inclusive as Seabourn fully is right now. So what you find in the prices right now is quite a vast difference between the lines. What I think Seabourn is doing is going full on into their new ships, into the renown they've had, the acclaim they've had, the style, the layout, the decor, and getting rid of their older vessels, which are much smaller and granted quite a bit older, these three vessels that Windstar is acquiring. Windstar will then overhaul them, but it allows Windstar to kind of come up with a separate niche that surely they will charge more for, because these Seabourn ships are quite lovely and small and much larger rooms and suites than what the current Windstar vessels have, which are more limited in terms of staterooms.
Yeah, I understand that there aren't any balcony staterooms. Are there balcony staterooms in the Seabourn ships that Windstar will be acquiring?
That is largely correct, although they do have some French balcony accommodations, just not the step-out balconies. So the current Windstar sailing vessel ships don't have that either. So in that way, it'll be somewhat similar. You know, they won't be able to have that, but it does give them a further option to open up the window, open up the experience as a more of a premium, more of a suite level of experience.
Okay, well, thanks for your thoughts, Matthew. And
that's my take. We'll see what happens in the next year or two, three, but that seems to be what's happening out there in the marketplace.
Yeah, that's some exciting news.
Pretty bold and exciting news, absolutely.